conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Ciara Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. We care enough. We care enough. We care enough. We care enough.
Come enjoy the life, baby, take a ride. I just wanna ride with you, baby, you and I can have a good time. Tell me what you like. Ooh. Now listen, I've been single for a while now, and I've been kind of lonely. But I'm looking for somebody to talk to, love me, someone who can hold me. Is that you? I'm looking for somebody I can call through, looking for the only one that I can give my all to. Tell me if it's you, what you wanna do, make a move. You can be my teacher, I'll do homework. You can give me extra credit, baby, I'll do more work. What you wanna do, now it's me and you.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This, of course, is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture with me, Jill Munroe. I hope that you are enjoying your Tuesday, that you are relaxed and ready to get into these trending topics and headlines because they are a plenty. But before we do that, if at any point during this conversation you want to tap in, hit us up, 800-920-1580. Also, hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. Hit me up personally at Stiletto Jill. All of that good stuff. You know, if you want the visual to go along with this audio experience, tap in on YouTube. The chat is always bustling over there, very opinionated. It's a whole show within the show. So tap in one of those ways. We love to hear from you. Now, let me give you a rundown of what we're going to get into tonight. Now, you heard Ciara. Ironically, Future produced that song, right? No, he produced Body Party. He didn't produce that one. Okay. All right. So, wrong. But that was one of Ciara's bangers. We know Ciara has been married for almost a decade now to Russell Wilson, NFL quarterback. You know, they are beautiful in love. Everyone wanted to know the prayer. They have a beautiful family. It still upsets people that Russell is a good father and role model to Ciara's son with rapper, producer Future. And Russell Wilson has spoken on it. I believe he's spoken on it before, but directly addressed it and talked about what God told him to do on the first date he went on with Ciara. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about there is a new lawsuit with several allegations against not just Sean Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy Combs, but also his son Justin, the former executive, what is Ethiopia's title, of Motown, and a few others. And it is from a producer named Lil Rod. We're going to get into what he had to say and some of the backing evidence that was included in the brief, which Puff, 4 minutes after it was announced, his legal team, Sean Holly, who, we'll get into who Sean Holly is later, but there is a TV show loosely based, I should say, around her life. And we'll get into that. And then coming up in the third hour, I know you've heard about it. I don't know if you've checked it out. A lot of people have. The 50-part saga on TikTok about who the freak did I marry. It's gone viral everywhere. Risa Tisa, the woman featured in it, has been offered trips to London and other places. All of these things pertain to something that was in the 50-part TikTok adventure of how she was scammed and lied to by her husband. At any rate, looks like that could be potentially going to some legal areas. So we're going to get into that. And of course, before we get into all of that, we have to get into a couple of conversation starters. These are topics, things that you need to be aware of. First up, are you fans of Wendy's? Well, listen, Wendy's has a new feature that they are introducing to their menu. So you guys better be pocket watching when you go to Wendy's. They have decided to take inspiration from Uber surge pricing. And at different points of the day, different food items will be increased or decreased based on the amount of time that is expected, wait time, the popularity of the item as such. I think that it is shady business that you are trying to price gouge, probably like little single moms trying to get a little quick meal for the kids on the way home from work or things of that nature. People trying to piece it together, but they are going to be rolling that out as early as 2025. They're going to begin testing it with digital menu boards in various locations, and they plan to, from there, roll it out to all of their stores. Andy?
They must have done some research for them to make this move, to think that this is going to be profitable. Because just you breaking this story, I'm already like, I'm not going to Wendy's. I'm sorry, you done lost business.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds crazy to me. They said, as we continue to show the benefit of this technology in our company-operated restaurants, franchisees interested in digital menu boards should increase. So I guess they're going to charge their franchisees for this premium feature. They plan to invest $20 million into the launch of digital menu boards at all their U.S.-run restaurants by the end of 2025. And they also plan to invest approximately $10 million over the next 2 years. So, I don't know. It's a gamble. But as we saw with Uber surge pricing, people thought that people would let that go. And, they did have to ease up, though.
Your nuggets are too spicy anyway. Sayonara.
Well, there it is there. Listen, when we come forward, more trending topics and headlines, you tapped into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
Febreze.
So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, I know you probably heard about those ugly sneakers, the Air Trumps, those gold Timu or whatever they're from with the American flag on them, and he's charging people like $400 or $500 a pair, and there's only I think 80 or 100 limited edition, what have you. Well, one hip hop artist who says they're just a sneakerhead purchased a pair because they're a sneakerhead, they're a collector. Their collection is so sick that the sneakerhead in him had to get it. All right, it's Fat Joe, y'all. So, Fat Joe said he is not a Republican. He is not voting. Well, did he say that? He may not have said that. He said he's not voting for Trump. He's not a Trumper, but he has such a sick collection of sneakers, and that as a sneakerhead, you are kind of compelled to seek out and purchase any rare shoe. I'm going to tell you, I feel like that's ridiculous. And understanding the sneakerhead culture fully, I worked at Nike during a peak part of it in the 2000s. Who is going to be searching for this? Someone surely, but someone that you would want to do business and exchange with on that level that wants this, I feel like it's unnecessary. It's your money. You do what you want. But are you going to put it on display? Who are you going to break out and brag to? Look at these Air Trumps, dog. I paid. Yeah, I got them. I mean, where is the prize in that? I don't know. But cook on, Fat Joe. Cook on. Okay, also, Madonna was asked to remove Luther Vandross from a montage that she has during her concert tour right now for Live to Tell, which was a hit song back in the 80s. In the montage, it features Freddie Mercury, Herb Ritts, and Keith Haring. And she also had Luther Vandross in there. Well, all of these individuals were diagnosed with HIV or AIDS. Luther Vandross was not officially. Unofficially, not our business, right? We don't know. But his family has requested that she remove it from the footage. And she has since done that. But some fans are upset that they feel she was trying to, in some ways, expose him. I don't think that was the intent. Maybe she didn't know that, as things move quickly now, maybe she thought that it was something that came out. I'm unsure. But I I'd also have to look into, which I didn't get a chance to, what Madonna's relationship was with Luther in the past. If they had any sort of relationship or connection where this wouldn't seem out of sorts. But she did remove it, and no word on it for an apology, and that's that. Okay, so listen. We know Russell Wilson seems to get people in an uproar, correct? Correct. Especially his relationship with Ciara. Well, recently, and you notice he didn't go to the Pivot podcast, which is the most popular one. He went to I Am Athlete and Brandon Marshall to do this interview. Andy didn't realize this. Nobody said anything. I just made the observation that that's where he went.
Well, but what do you mean? What are you trying to say?
You don't
Maybe
remember?
I'm lost.
So there earlier, I think it was, well, not this year, last year, because they're blending. There was a debate on the Pivot podcast about whether Russell Wilson was corny, and then there was the whole thing with Channing. What is this last about that? So we all know that the Pivot is the superior product at this moment. Correct? It is. And it is interesting that Russell took the time to have a long one-on-one sit down with their arch nemesis, for lack of a better term. So I just thought that that was interesting to note. Again, nobody's said anything about it that I've caught wind of. I'm sure some other people have noticed as well, but petty.
And it's interesting that you even make that observation, because I haven't seen much of Brandon Marshall in a while. And
Right.
I thought I Am Athlete was done.
It is. I don't know. I don't know if this is under the I Am Athlete banner. It might be. This might be a relaunch, with a big interview, but that's where it goes. Fahima in the chat says, "No, not Fat Joe. I'm so disappointed in him." Hey, listen. It is a video. He said it on his live. Those were his words, not mine. And you can check it out. He proudly displayed them, pulled out the box, opened it up. So, rock out, Fat Joe. Okay, back to Russ. So, in this interview, he talked about a few things. He talked about his contract situation and how this could go legal because of the benching. We'll get into that. But one of the interesting revelations that came out of this was that he shared on date number 1 with Ciara, God told him that he needed to, well, let's listen. It's not going to be good with me saying it. Let's listen to him say it.
So, little future, he's 9 months at the time or whatever, and he crawls in my lap, and it was like, this is going to be my responsibility. God, I remember leaving that night, and God saying, saying to me, raising this child, it's going to be your responsibility. Mm. And realizing that, praying to God, are you sure this is what you want me to do? Say, son, this is for you.
The first night?
Yeah, the first night. Mm-hmm. This is going to be your responsibility. And was that scary? Oh, yeah. I think scary just in the sense of, not scary, but it was more so an opportunity. Like, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. This is, stepping in to raise, a child with C and this and that, and realizing that, okay, God, like, I know she's the one for me, but also too, I'm going to take this responsibility as well. Like, okay, like, and I was ready for that. I was ready to, I love children, as you know, I love kids and everything else, but it was like, man, to.
Listen, first of all, that's beautiful. That is, like, here's the thing, right? I really think, and I'll be transparent, initially when Ciara and Russell first started dating and that came out, I was like, oh, PR relationship. But I was cool with it because I thought, they had some things that both needed, and they looked, they could probably complement each other well. And it started off really fairy tale-esque. We like that. We like to see that, right? We want to see Black women get princess treatment. And also, for so long, there has been the conversation that women, not the men, But women, and I'm not saying it should be either, but that women are damaged goods if they have a relationship, it doesn't work out, and there's a child involved. And that is so wrong and so unfair on so many levels. Like, we can get into the nuts and bolts of that conversation, whose fault it is and who should be more responsible, but we should be responsible to each other, hopefully, yeah. And if things don't work out, as life can happen at times, it's not a fairy tale, even though we want it to be at times. Everyone should be able to hopefully move along and find some semblance of, co-parenting, whatever the situation is, and it be cool. But for some reason, future fans have decided that Ciara is not deserving of having love and a beautiful life simply because she chose to have a baby with their hero. Like, make that make sense. But Russell said he knew from day one. Now, granted, he was raised differently. I think that they share that in common. They both, in some ways, have similar, family-oriented backgrounds and things of that nature. I think it just worked. And there's nothing wrong. Like, it's so interesting to me, people are, or the bitter men, because there's bitter men like they're bitter women, right? And we've seen them flare up with this future topic and be very upset that Russell is being a good man to his stepson. Like, I don't understand what they want him to do. Knock him in the head? Is it projection for some things that they saw or felt in their own life? I'm not saying it is for everyone. I just don't understand the vitriol with the man stepping up because you think that he's corny. A lot of y'all corny too. Like, let's be real. Even in your streetness, you're still corny. So I don't know why Russell ignites so much. I mean, I guess it's just the clean cut, all American thing. He didn't come from a broken home, and he didn't struggle perhaps in the ways that sometimes we respect in the Black community. It's like, it's almost unfair because we want to work hard and get out of the circumstance, but we penalize those that have, Andy?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because culturally, he's what you probably would consider to be an outlier, right? I mean, you broke it down beautifully, and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? I think on the flip side, I think like Megan Good, not Megan Good, Nipsey's boo.
Lauren London.
Lauren London, I feel like is probably going through the same thing to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as crazy as Russell, but it's just unfortunate. But I ain't gonna lie, watching that clip just now that we played, there's a part of me that was just, I had to like shake my head a little bit.
Like, you doing too much?
There was a part of me that was like, yeah, you're doing too much. And I always raise an eyebrow when somebody says that, God spoke to them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's my own personal thing or whatnot. That's not to say that God didn't speak to you, but I don't know. I find that a little bit just different.
I mean, he does insert God in everything. One thing that I think, and we're actually seeing it in bits and pieces overall, you get to choose to a degree the route that you take as far as your image, right? And we see a lot of twists and turns. But we know, and I'm going to use an example, Dwight Howard, 2004, drafted to Orlando. He was he was a Christian teen, just graduated from high school, basically. Teen from Georgia, said he was a virgin. We did not ask that information, but it was volunteered to us, and all of these things. Fast forward 20 years, and it's a lot different. It's a lot of different situations. It's a lot of things, And here's my thing. On one hand, people go through stuff. They choose to hide or pick up or put down things depending upon where they are at in their life. Sometimes it is experimentation. sometimes that's just how we grow, right? We make choices. And sometimes we're like, not that one. And sometimes we're like, more please, even if it's wrong. You know, these are the things that happen. These are the things that shape us. But I do think when you put on the armor, and again, not saying it's fake with Russ, and maybe it wasn't fake with Dwight at the time when it started out, but when you put on that particular choice of the route that you're going to go, it is very, very difficult to maintain that straight line because you're human. Not because you're inherently hiding something, but because you are human and things happen. Mistakes happen. And so, you know, I do think Russell is older now and it's different. I don't think that they are going for perfection, but it's just that they are very much ideal like. And so I think that that offends the senses of some people because we're used to being told you're not going to get what you really want. And so for some, when they see people get what they seemingly really wanted, it's infuriating. Andy?
And it's sad because everybody is chasing the ideal.
You know, and so I think sometimes there's a little bit of jealousy involved. I know we're not really allowed to say that, but it's real. And, you know, things happen. But, you know, I think Russell knows when to pour it on a little extra. There was a cute video of them at the SAG Awards this weekend, and Ciara had on a latex dress, and he said he couldn't wait to get the latex off of her. You know, they got a lot of kids, so it seems like all of these things seem to check out, right? Seems to come together okay. And I love that for them. And I don't expect perfection from them. I think couples goals, people have taken that too far. Couples goals means they have a nice relationship. I'm sure there are problems, but I like that for them, and I would like something nice for myself too. Should not be one-to-one. Like, we got to learn to have a balance between complimenting and saying, oh, that is inspirational or aspirational, and wanting to copy and paste onto lives because it's unrealistic. There is no perfection. When we come forward, we'll get into more about Russell Wilson and Ciara and some of the response, and of course, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA. Talk 1580 News and Sports is up next.
Picture perfect. I'll spend all my money on my time because you're worth it. It's just me and you. What you wanna do, make a move. Call me mama, spoil you like a baby. Thinking about you, dreaming about you, got me going crazy. What you wanna do. Now it's me and you.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. NBC News is projecting former President Trump as winner of the Michigan Republican primary. Trump has held a commanding lead in the state throughout the primaries. Although Biden did not have a major primary challenger in the contest, he did face some headwinds in Michigan as Arab American activists in the state rallied voters to cast an uncommitted ballot to protest his handling of the Israel-Hamas war. Improvements to streets and sidewalks, recreational areas, parks, and plazas are in the 5-year plan for the nation's capital. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who is black, presented more information about the $400 million downtown public realm plan, which the mayor hopes will bring people back into Washington. 4 projects expected to be catalysts for growth include the Connecticut Avenue Capitol Promenade, I Street Greenway, the Vermont Avenue Connector, and Gallery Place Festival Plaza. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
When you get your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt, prepare to shout, "Jackson Hewitt, yeah!" from the rooftops. In the event you don't get your biggest refund, you'll get your money back. plus $100.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Ciara Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580, where climate is king.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears. Thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. Jam on it.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, you gonna rock, right? You gonna do it now, right?
Look, I think this dropped in like 83. I feel like. And you know it has to be an 80s song with a 2-minute long instrumental intro.
Down and then giving no slack like a Burger King with the sack of Big Macs. Throwing down with the rockables ass on time. In your mind, you see, you gotta move it to your best ability. You gotta funk it up until they knock you down. And when you're bumping up, make sure you pass it around. Come on, let's go to work. We got what'll make your body jerk. Make you throw your hands up in the air, shake your booty and scream, oh yeah, 'cause we are the Jam on Crew and Jam.
Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe. You're on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Nucleus, Jam on It. That's when breakers used to grab a cardboard box and drag them around the hard asphalt concrete with those two-tone Nike jackets, red and blue or black and gray, and get their backspin on. All that good stuff. Listen, we have a caller on the line, but before I get to him, I want to correct something I said. Luther Vandross passed away, according to his family, from complications from a stroke suffered in 2005. That is the official word, and though they say they respect and understand, they are unclear where Madonna's production team got any information, and like I said, she removed it, but that was his official cause of death. So we have JW from South Central LA on the line. Good evening, JW. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm amazing. Great to talk to you tonight.
Hey, Mr. Phillips, like I told Andy, as usual or normal, I always come in at the tail end of the conversation. But my main motivation for chiming in is with Russell
Wilson.
How you picking up, Wilson. How you was making the point about some of his haters being critical of him because he wants to be a stepdad. And my perspective is this. I'm like Andy. I used to be leery when anybody say that what God told them. But let's take this under consideration. You also made a reference to how his family, as well as Ciara's family, they had a history or mutual agreement or mindset or attitude or frame of mind or perspective on things.
That is my assumption.
Agreement.
That is just my assumption. That I don't know if that conversation has been had, but just they both seem to come from similar backgrounds, kind of, middle class. That's where I'm basing it off of.
Okay, so it was an educational guess, which can be valid. Okay, so it's a rational assumption, it's possible, and therefore it's possible. So anyway, back to what I was saying, I always been leery too, like Andy, but anybody say what God told them, but all reality being what it is, sometimes God can speak to your spirit. But that's the second point I wanted to make. The main point I want to make is if he's a stand-up guy, and like you said, this vitriol, or whatever terminology you use, meaning that they're hating or they have disapproval or find fault or think he's a nerd or a square, well, you have to take under consideration what is the demographics, what is the age bracket. So I started looking this up because I really don't pay attention to too much gossip unless it has some things of substance I want to share with, such as this. This man is a stand-up man. Okay,
yes, he is.
I don't think he's a Captain Saber H or somebody that wants a ready-made family, or she's seen him coming, whoop and all this free lunch and etc. The point is, he has character and substance and principles, and perhaps God, based on his upbringing, and as you said, what they have in common, based on observation. Hey, it may be a good fit, and God's the God of timing and order, and it might be the right time, and he's just serving his purpose here on earth and being a blessing. Because, that's a wonderful thing to see black men step up to the plate and to the contrary of what the false narratives are saying that we don't do.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. And that's why, I mean, I get it. It is always going to be loose archetypes of bad boy and good guy, the quarterback and the wild wide receiver or
The
something
chess
like
player.
that. Yeah. but let me say this, right? I also think that Russell is not as, or maybe he's learned, but not as square as some people think that he is, right? I'm not saying he has Riz and he's hecka smooth, although he has improved. I mean, the relationship looks good on them. But I will say, I thought it was interesting in this interview too, when asked what his favorite Ciara songs were, he listed Ride, Goodies, and Body Party.
Come on now, a square would like those songs too.
No. You're missing.
Okay, all right.
You're missing it.
I'm gonna fall back.
I don't care which song he picked. He picked the song that Future produced that was a hit for Ciara. Like, yeah, that's a great song. I feel like he takes shots and he does little things too. You don't know.
I don't know if it's
You might be thinking too much into it. But you know what? I get your point, and we can leave that as a question mark, because it's more than what meets the eye. So I follow your train of thought. But as well, it had exposure, and then he's a human being, and he's the male, and you know how some women used to say back when what's the name? Oh my God, Oprah was they said male bashing back then. Black male bashing, with all black men are dogs. So, that animalistic standard of low nature could have kicked in, and then he could have been wilding out at that time frame.
I'm not going that far. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, everybody has the potential to be slick at the mouth at times and to throw little shots. That's all I'm saying.
I just added more perspectives to it, But I'm going to end with this conversation. I recall a conversation a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't think of the name of the record store because you mentioned Warehouse Records and Tapes. But you made me think about Big Ben's Records.
I remember
and
Big
Tapes
Ben's.
on the Brea, and at that time, what was that? Rodale Road.
Before it was it Big Ben's before it became the Warehouse?
On the
Correct.
Brea.
Yeah. It was either or, but it was called Big Ben's Records and Tapes. I wanted to call in because at that time, I didn't realize you worked there. So did I. I'm not going to go into detail, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And I think that was
JW, initials.
You worked at, you're saying you worked at Warehouse when I did?
I said Big Ben's Records.
Oh, okay.
and
You worked
Tapes,
at Big,
but
okay.
You alluded to the point that you did work there.
No, I worked at Warehouse when it was Warehouse, but listen, I don't know. Different time.
In the story, delete that. Have a good night.
Have a good night, JW. Thanks for calling in. Listen, when we come for, Andy, what you got to say?
I don't think he took shots because those songs are some of Ciara's most popular songs.
Correct. But you don't think he doesn't know who produced Body Party? That was a comeback single for Ciara. She was in the video doing a little dance for Future in that video.
Yeah, but she doing that dance now for him.
Exactly. That's why I feel like, Body Party. Listen, it's been almost a decade that they have been together. I am not saying that, he is like down in the trenches or things like that. I'm not saying anything like that, but as many shots as Future is taking at him, you don't think every now and again maybe something that only they recognize or stuff? I do.
The ultimate shot is him taking care of his kid.
Yeah. Every time he sees a picture of his son about to throw a football.
Come on.
Look, how about Future becomes a quarterback in the NFL?
Woo, hey, that would be huge. That would be huge. But look at the way he said he was like, little Future came and climbed up on me, and that's when I found out that God told me that this is my responsibility. That right there is a shot in itself, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think he need to be that petty as far as, songs that, that he likes from Ciara.
Listen, all of it. I think there's you guys say no. I'm going to say that there's a little bit of pepper sprinkled in the sweetness. That's all. That's what I think. When we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent maracas smell amazing. You could call them scent maracas, but most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows that Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Last night we talked a bit about the Wendy Williams documentary that aired on Lifetime over the weekend and the various things that came out as a result of it. Well, her former DJ Booth, he has alleged that the court-appointed guardian is withholding information about Wendy's condition from her family. He was also in the documentary, and, he is one of the individuals she credited with, saving her effectively for a period of time. And then we saw him with her, I believe it was during the pandemic when she was doing shows from home, and then something happened and he disappeared, right? They were close and then he was no more. And so what he said this on TMZ Live on Monday. I don't think anyone knew the extent of how bad it was. it felt like people knew something was up with her, but they didn't really know. I knew it because I've been around. It's sad to see something like that happen to her. She needs help. He also said that he last communicated with Wendy about a month ago. And from what he gathered, that the team that is overseeing the court-appointed guardianship is not letting her family know exactly what is going on with her. He said, I think if you were to ask me, that Florida would be a better place for her. That's where her family is. She needs 24-hour care. He also said that the last time he saw Wendy in person, he felt that she appeared to be 100% great and was recovering. I'm unclear what I think 100% great means, but that was his impression. And he said she seemed to be doing great. And he said that it is very, very different, obviously, from 4 years ago when he accused the show's staff of being too afraid to address the issues that were going on with Wendy. So this story continues to grow and have legs. You know, a lot of people have spoken out about it and what is happening with her. So, again, continued prayers to Wendy because that was rough to watch. So, in other news, something is coming. I don't know what, but something is coming. Listen, a photo has floated through social media of Joe Budden, Candace Owen, and what looks to be a set. So I don't know who's on whose show. Tend to think that maybe Joe went on Candace's show, and it's an interesting link up. You know, Candace Owen has been not fully, but slightly changing her messaging and positioning, and I think it's interesting to watch. And I'm wondering, I have my thoughts and theories, but I will withhold them as we see how more things develop, especially in this upcoming election year. But I do think it's interesting, the targets. I don't know. It just looks suspicious, like that Cardi B meme. Speaking of Cardi B released a little snippet of some music, and we might actually get some new Cardi music on the way. I'm not sure though if it's a duet with Bia. Well, I don't even know. That's not a duet. If it's three, what is that? A trio? I don't even know if we call it that officially, but looks like maybe Cardi, Bia, and Missy are jumping on a track together, and that they will be sampling. Well, Missy won't be sampling, it's her song, but She's a Bee that was on the, I can't remember, I think it was Missy's second or third album, but it was the video where she was painted all black and bald. You know, visually, Missy Elliott has always been ahead of the game. And, you know, I think it's dope that at, what is Missy, 52? She's dropping new music in hip hop. And it's not, I like it, but we'll have to see what this is. But, you know, I've been interested in some of the things that she's been teasing out. And I always want to see Missy do well because I think she's talented and dope. Okay, listen. So very, very much is happening today in social media. Well, in general, it feels like it's always like that, right? But once again, I have to say that people are mean, and you guys need to kind of back up off Lil Kim, right? So people are speculating that Lil Kim is dating a younger rapper named Tay Brown. And she posted a really sweet birthday post to him, and it said, "Our bond is so perfectly matched. It was God that brought us together." Maybe it's just a good friendship, you know. People read a lot into social media. However, fans think that, you know, something might be bubbling under. She shared videos of the two of them enjoying the party festivities, right? And a clip of a new collaboration that they have could just be old fashioned, hype, getting the people going by being pictured with somebody to get them anticipating your new music. I don't know if that theory, if that approach, I guess, still works in the social media era. I think you probably have to take it a little further than just out and about. But maybe not. So we will have to see. I'm curious as to what Lil Kim is going to drop. You know, Kim is one of my faves, and I always root for her. And, new music from the Queen wouldn't be bad. We got a lot of queens. It's okay. We can. People get so angry about that. Speaking of another rap queen, Serena Williams was on Instagram and gave a sneak peek of what looks to be the shoe from the Megan Thee Stallion's Nike collection that will be dropping soon. It's purple, low profile. Looked like a sneaker. No, I have to see to get a better shot of it, but I hope that it does really well for Megan. I would like to see, her fandom. I know that they support her and they ride for her, but I want to see them support her products and those type of things too. And let's really kick this train off and get it going. Well, I know you guys know what's coming up next hour, right? There is another lawsuit that was filed against Diddy and several others. We're going to get into some of the accusations in there. There's a lot of people that have been thrown under the bus in it. I'm sure you've heard about some of them. We'll get into that. But there's some other bits of information, because you know me, if I can get a hold of the court documents, I'm going to read them, that people missed. And I'm going to make you aware of, and we're going to get into all of that, plus some of the back and forth and things surrounding that. So make sure you are locked and loaded for hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is on the other side.
Surefire, bonafide, house, rock and jam on production MC. If you want the best, then put me to the test, and I'm sure you'll soon agree that I got no flaws, cause I'm down by law when it comes to rocking viciously, you see. Cause when I was a little baby boy, my mama gave me a brand new toy.